You know what researchers call cognitive resilience? That is the brain's ability to keep functioning sharp and clear even as the body gets older. Most people think that fades automatically after a certain age. I used to think that too, but then I started paying attention to something. I started watching certain people in their late 70s, their early 80s, and I noticed something that honestly stopped me cold. These people were not on some special diet. They were not doing hour-long workouts at 5 in the morning. They were not wealthy. They were just ordinary folks who had quietly figured out something the rest of us keep missing. And I need to tell you this because it changed the way I see everything. There is a term in aging science called superager. It means a person whose brain and body function far younger than their actual years. Not because of luck, not because of good genes, but because of tiny, almost invisible patterns they carry into every single day without even thinking about it. 6 of them. And I promise you, by the time I finish, you are going to recognize yourself in at least one of these. And if you do, I want you to feel proud, genuinely proud. So let me start here. Every single morning, before they check their phone or pour their coffee, these people do one thing that sounds almost embarrassingly simple. They walk to a window and they open the curtains. That's it. They let the sunlight come in. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear me out, because there's a real biological process happening here called circadian rhythm entrainment. That's a fancy way of saying your body has an internal clock, and it needs a signal every morning to reset itself. When natural light hits your eyes first thing, your brain starts producing serotonin, which is the chemical that makes you feel calm, grounded, and alive. And here's the part most people do not know. That same serotonin later in the day gets converted into melatonin, which is what helps you fall into deep sleep at night. So if you skip that morning light, you are quietly ruining your sleep hours later without ever connecting the two. People who never learn this little chain reaction spend years wondering why they cannot sleep well. Meanwhile, the people who just open their curtains every morning, cloud of shine, rain or gray sky, they sleep deeper, they wake up cleaner, and they carry a steadiness through the day that others cannot explain. And here's what gets me. You don't need sunshine, you just need to stand near a window. That's the whole habit. Now, the second thing these people do, and this one surprised me the most, they don't reach for cold water when they wake up. They reach for warm water, not coffee, not juice, warm water, close to body temperature. And I know that sounds like something your grandmother told you when you ignored, but listen. During sleep, your core body temperature drops, and as we get older, our muscle mass decreases, which means our body becomes less efficient at generating its own internal heat. So when you shock your system with ice-cold water first thing in the morning, your digestive organs actually tighten up. They slow down. It's like trying to start a cold engine at full speed before it's had a chance to warm up. But when you sip warm water slowly, something else happens. Your stomach and intestines gently wake up. Blood flow improves. Your whole system starts moving the way it's supposed to. Some research even suggests that warming your internal temperature by just a couple of degrees can give your immune function a meaningful boost, all from a glass of warm water every single morning. Now, let us talk about breakfast, because this is where a lot of people quietly lose ground without realizing. People who stay strong and independent well past 75 almost always have protein at breakfast. Not just toast, not just fruit. Protein. Eggs, yogurt, beans, fish, whatever form it takes. And the reason for this goes back to something called sarcopenia, which is the gradual loss of muscle that happens naturally as we age. While you sleep, your muscles actually break down slightly. Your body needs building material the moment you wake up. If all you give it is carbohydrates, it starts pulling from your own muscle tissue to find energy. Over time, that adds up to less strength, less balance, less freedom. The people who protect their muscles in the morning are the ones still walking without help 10 years later. It is not complicated. It's just intentional. The fourth thing, and this one is deeply connected to your brain, fine motor activation. That is the term for small, precise movements of your fingers and hands, buttoning a shirt, tying shoes, writing a few words, turning a jar lid. These tiny actions stimulate one of the largest areas of your brain's sensory map, something called the homunculus or cortical map, which shows that your hands take up a disproportionately large portion of your brain's real estate. Every time you use your fingers carefully and with intention, you are literally lighting up neural pathways and increasing blood flow to wide regions of your brain. People who switch to slip-on shoes and elastic waistbands because it is easier are, without knowing it, slowly dimming those pathways. The superagers keep doing the small fiddly things. They take their time, they do not rush, and their minds stay sharper because of it. Now, the fifth habit is one that actually carries a health risk attached to it if you ignore it. These people use their voice every morning. They speak out loud to someone, to a pet, to themselves, to the television, to whoever or whatever is there. And this is not just about loneliness or connection, though those matter too. This is about a physical process called swallowing muscle maintenance. Aspirational pneumonia, which is one of the leading causes of serious illness in older adults, happens when the throat muscles weaken and food or saliva slips into the lungs. Those muscles weaken fast when they are not used. People who go hours without speaking are quietly losing that function, but people who talk every morning, who sing a line of a song, or say a small prayer out loud, or just greet the day with words, they keep those muscles strong. And as a bonus, speaking from the diaphragm deepens your breathing, which calms the nervous system and lowers anxiety. Your voice is not just sound, it's a lifeline. And the sixth habit, the one that ties everything together. Every morning these people give their day one thing to look forward to, something small, a walk to a specific coffee shop, a phone call to a friend, a show they want to watch, a little bit of gardening. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that they choose it on purpose. Because when your brain anticipates something pleasurable, it releases dopamine, which is the chemical most connected to motivation, engagement, and mental energy. Research consistently shows that dopamine activity is one of the strongest predictors of cognitive vitality as we age. People who have something to look forward to, even something tiny, stay mentally younger. Their day is not just something that happens to them, it's something they are moving toward. And that difference, that one small shift in perspective, is maybe the most powerful anti-aging tool of all. None of this costs anything. None of this requires a doctor's prescription or a gym membership. These are just choices made quietly every single day by people who decided that their remaining years were worth showing up for. So, I want to ask you something. Which one of these already belongs to you, and which one could you start tomorrow morning? Not all 6, just one,
because that one choice, that one small act of caring for yourself is already the beginning of something real.